No, the longest is for the event.
Nothing new.
Right. Good evening, everyone. We're grateful to have you with us for tonight's City Council meeting. Your presence and participation help shape our community. For the record, today is September 18th, 2025, and the time is 6:30 p.m. I'll begin with the roll call. So, Council, when I call your name, please say here or present. Mayor Maxton.
Here.
Councilmember Stroop is not present. Councilmember Roden.
Here.
Olvera.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Parker.
Present.
And Swarik. With 6 members of council present, a quorum is declared.
Thank you, Christina. And would everybody please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, we do have a light crowd with us tonight here in the council chambers, but as a reminder to all, we do live broadcast this meeting. And welcome to all those that are joining us tonight, and any of those that are joining us by the live broadcast tonight. Thank you for being here. If you do get an opportunity to speak as part of the meeting, the open session part of the meeting, I ask that you use the microphone that's up at the podium. The reason for that, those that are watching by live broadcast cannot hear the comments if they're made from the chairs in front of us. And if you do get an opportunity to speak, I'd ask that you state your name and whether you're a resident of Fair Oaks Ranch or not, or with an agency that's representing or here to speak with the city tonight, what agency that you are from. We did not have anybody sign up to speak as part of Citizens to be Heard. Is there anyone here tonight that did not get an opportunity to sign up that would like to speak? All right. And with that, we'll move on to, we have one presentation item tonight. And Joanna, would you join me at the podium? Please.
Of course.
Sorry. We have a recognition tonight. It's Human Resource Recognition. And annually, that is recognized across the United States on 26 September. And we do use these recognition days to show our appreciation for the accomplishments of our employees, of what they do, recognize the vital role that they play in running our city government, and support them in their daily efforts. And for our Human Resource Department, many may not realize all the wide range of their responsibilities that they must encompass every day or that they accomplish every year to keep our city moving. And Joanna Merrill is here with me. She's the director of the HR department. And Jennifer Hudson, who makes up the other half of the department, couldn't make it here tonight. And hopefully, Jennifer, you're watching online, and we say hi to you and would like to recognize you. But Jennifer is our human resource specialist. And together, they are responsible for overseeing employee relations, including performance, the management and the engagement, managing the process of recruiting and hiring new talent to work here as part of our city staff, administering and analyzing employee benefits and our compensation, which I know has kept y'all busy over the last year, and creating and implementing professional development programs for our city staff, and ensuring compliance with complex laws and regulations. But over this past year, Joanna and her team have had some remarkable accomplishments, completed an extensive recruiting effort to stabilize our public works, our police department, and our administrative positions in the city staff. A big project finalized the development of the new personal policies manual, reduced city and employee health benefits costs while improving benefit levels by transitioning to a new insurance provider, which I believe took a lot of research to accomplish and turned out to be a benefit not only to our employees, but also overall in reducing the cost to our city. conducted a citywide compensation and benefits study to ensure market competitiveness while keeping the process under budget overall. And finally, the one piece that I put down here, Joanna was awarded this year by the Texas Municipal Human Resources Association as the Lone or the Almost Lone Ranger of the Year award. So a lot of significant accomplishments, and also recognized by a Texas Municipality of Human Resources for the efforts that you do. Really stands out in what you've accomplished for us. So thank you clearly to you and Jennifer, all that you do every day, and their leadership and dedication has strengthened this organization every single day. So we want to thank you, and I'd like to say it's truly a pleasure to serve with you and on your team, so thank y'all very much. And I do have a proclamation that I would like to read. The City of Fair Oaks Ranch, whereas the Human Resource Department works hard each day to ensure that the City of Fair Oaks Ranch is staffed with high-quality employees and that these employees have a good environment in which to work. And whereas the Human Resource Department is instrumental in recruiting, selecting, resourcing, and retaining quality, and whereas the Human Resource Department plays a vital role in fostering satisfaction and loyalty among employees by allowing for professional growth and development and keeping employees informed about policies, working conditions, compensation, and benefits. And whereas the Human Resource Department monitors and manages current and future workforce trends, the organizational culture, legal and legislative trends, and ethical and social responsibility. And whereas the Human Resource Department is an important part of city leadership and is vital to the overall productivity and efficiency of Fair Oaks Ranch's workforce. And whereas the Human Resource Department is a valued and respected department that sustains the city's most important assets, which is its people. And now and therefore, the City Council of the City of Fair Oaks Ranch does hereby designate September 26, 2025 as Human Resource Professional Day. And I urge all citizens to express their appreciation, and please reach out to these two individuals on that day and tell them how much we appreciate what they do for us every day. So thank you, Joanna.
Thank you.
Here, we'll do one and then. And you get one alone. And thank you, Jennifer, for joining us. At this time, we are going to go into executive session. As part of filling our boards, committees, and commissions, we do have one interview to complete tonight. And so, pursuant to Section 551.101 of the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, a quorum of the governing body hereby convenes into closed session, and we'll do this under Section 551.074, personnel matters. And Christina, I need the City Council and yourself to remain. And for everyone else, I anticipate this will take about 45 minutes, and we'll come back into open session. And so I have the time now is 6:39, and we're going into executive session. Christina, I have the time now is 7:30, and we are back in open session. There were items that were discussed as part of this executive session that do need to be considered in open session, but currently those are all listed as part of our agenda tonight, and we'll cover them during that time. And we'll move on from there to our consent agenda for tonight. We have 8 items on the consent agenda. First, the approval of the September 4th, 2025 special city council meeting minutes. Second, approval of the September 4th regular city council meeting minutes. Third, approval of a resolution authorizing the placement of radar feedback signs at various locations throughout the city and providing for an effective date. Fourth, approving a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement and all applicable documents for the use of an animal control facility between the City of Fair Oaks Ranch and the City of Boerne, and to expend funds as established in the agreement. And fifth, approval of the resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with the Lower Colorado River Authority for radio services and equipment. Six, approval of a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with Patty Engineering Incorporated for supervisory control and data acquisition support services, expenditure of the required funds, and execution of all applicable documents by the city manager. Seventh, approval of a resolution authorizing participation in the national opioid settlement. And last, approval of Councilmember Stroop's absence from the September 18, 2025 regular city council meeting, tonight's meeting. Is there any council member that would like to remove any of these items from consent to consideration? Everybody good? Good. Then can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
From Jonathan, in a second. From Ruben. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. With that, we'll move on to our consideration items tonight. And first up is the consideration and possible action approving the second reading of an ordinance adopting the city budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026. So this is our second review, and
Yes.
anything else to add to it?
No, just that the budget maintains the current tax rate and funds the service delivery and capital initiatives set by council, and the public hearing and first reading were held earlier this week.
And any questions from council? Everybody good? Any questions from anyone here tonight? Can you get a motion to approve an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2025-26 budget as presented? From Keith? Second. And from Scott Parker. Any other discussion from council? And I'll turn it over to Christina for the record vote.
The question is on the adoption of the ordinance approving the city budget. I'll now call for a roll call vote. So council members, when I call your name, please say for, against, or abstain. Mayor Maxton.
For.
Councilmember Roden.
For.
Councilmember Olvera.
For.
Councilmember Pearson.
For.
Councilmember Parker.
For.
And Councilmember Swarek.
For.
Did-
For.
By a vote of 6 for, 0 against, and 0 abstaining, the ordinance is adopted.
Thank you, Christina. And we'll move on to our second consideration item, which is the consideration and the possible action approving the second reading of an ordinance levying a property tax rate of 28.53 per $100 taxable valuation on property in the city of Fair Oaks Ranch for the tax year 2025, determining due and delinquent dates and providing an effective date. And Summer, anything else to add?
No, sir.
Any questions from council? Any questions from anyone here tonight? Then can I get a motion that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 28.53 per $100 taxable valuation, which is effectively a 3.65% increase in the tax rate? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Maxton and Rubin. Any other discussion from council?
Mayor, I just, again, want to clarify that the tax rate will be the same as last year, even though the increase you're referring to is the increase relative to the net, no new revenue rate.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody else? Then I'll also turn this one over to, did you have a comment, Reuben?
No.
Okay. Turn it over to Christina for the record vote.
Yes, thank you. The question is on the adoption of the ordinance approving the city tax rate. I'll now call for a roll call vote. So council members, when I call your name, please respond with for, against, or abstain. Mayor Maxton.
4.
Councilmember Roden.
4.
Councilmember Olvera. 4. Councilmember Pearson.
4.
Councilmember Parker.
4.
And Councilmember Swarig.
4.
By a vote of 6-4, 0 against, and 0 abstaining, the ordinance is adopted.
Thank you, Christina. And we'll move on to our third consideration item, which is the consideration and the possible action approving a resolution ratifying the recent adopted budget for fiscal year 2025-26 that contains a property tax rate that raises more total property taxes than the previous year. And Summer, you going to explain this?
I will, thank you. Summer Fleming, Director of Finance. So for your consideration is a resolution required under Texas Local Government Code, Section 102.007C. This provision requires the City Council to ratify by a separate vote any increase in property tax revenues resulting from the adoption of the annual budget. So the adopted fiscal year 25-26 budget raises more total property taxes than last year's budget, an increase of $488,000. And of that amount, almost $157,000 is attributable to new property added to the tax roll this year. So approval of this resolution will ensure compliance with state law and formally ratify the property tax revenue increase reflected in the adopted budget.
And the reason for this is really the transparency and accounting related to our budget and our adoption of the tax rate.
It's ratifying that you agree with the property tax increase in the budget, since it will raise more property tax revenue than last year.
Okay.
Yes.
Any questions from council? And Keith, this really gets to the point that you were expressing earlier about the percentage increase.
Correct.
Any questions from anyone here tonight? All right, then can I get a motion to approve a resolution ratifying the recently adopted budget for the fiscal year 25-26 that contains a property tax rate that raises more total property taxes than the previous year?
So moved.
Keith with the motion and Scott with the second. Any other comments from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you, Summer. Our next consideration item is the consideration and the possible action approving a resolution authorizing the use of electronic bidding in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code. And Clayton, I think you've done the research on this. And
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Clayton Holscher, Procurement Manager. Tonight's item, I've got a quick presentation to go over, kind of what we're bringing and why we're bringing it and what we need to approve in order for us to be able to do this. So the Texas Local Government Code, specifically Chapter 252, which is predominantly the main code for us that has the rules for our competitive bidding, it allows cities to utilize electronic bidding for our formal projects that require formal competitive requirements with the approval of the governing body of rules that they adopt. And so with electronic bidding, we can increase our efficiency and transparency. It's been around for a long time, so plenty of vendors are around checking these websites, so they know where to find our projects at. So it really will help our visibility for doing this. It'll allow for remote bid submission, which is a benefit. Sometimes there'll be vendors that can't physically make it here for a deadline, so they'd have that opportunity to submit remotely. And really, what all this does is we're still following the same rules. Essentially, we're just modernizing this process and only swapping paper for digital copies. As I briefly mentioned earlier, Chapter 252 is where it kind of lays the framework for this. I do want to stress that confidentiality will still be maintained. So the integrity of the bid process is not compromised. Any sort of deadline still has to be met. So instead of a physical timestamp that we would physically do here, a bidding system will automatically track that. It won't allow for any bids to be submitted after that deadline, and the system won't physically let me or whoever is in charge open these prior to a posted deadline. So all the same rules for confidentiality that we still follow physically here when we have a bid opening will still apply. Only approved personnel will have access, and we'll just continue to follow all our applicable state and federal procurement laws. So with that, if we were to approve this, we would start posting our formal bids electronically through a secure bidding platform. The one I would like to start utilizing, I'm currently utilizing on some of our projects just for advertisement purposes only. The system has the capability to accept electronic bids also. It's called Civcast. Bernie uses it, Bexar County, City of San Antonio. It's a well-known bidding platform specifically for the architectural and engineering community, the construction community, which is predominantly what these formal projects that we competitively bid, 90% of them will be for this. And we could potentially use some other platforms for some of our other projects that don't fall into that category. But this system right here, Civcast, I have high confidence in. There's no sort of long-term commitment. Just for reference, if we were to full-on advertise and accept electronic bids, we're looking at $200 for a project. There's no cost to the vendor community, which, in my opinion, I think is a big advantage. I think you don't want to pass that on to the vendor community because it could potentially keep us from, getting bids from some qualified companies. And for reference, so far this fiscal year, I think we've advertised about 9 of these, so you're still looking at under $2,000 a year if we were to advertise our projects for this. I've been advertising our projects on this platform for $100. This would just simply add another $100 to actually accept the bids. And I'll frequently ask our vendors when they come to our bid openings where they have learned about our projects, and it's predominantly through this system. So I think it's a good platform. It would be pretty seamless, and vendors are very familiar with it. And we would just continue to incorporate any future legislative updates into our process. And I do have an update on that, but before I do that, does anybody have any questions for me at this time?
just want to make sure, you still would have to do your due diligence once you look at these different vendors that come in.
Cor-
They're not stamped by Civcast.
So the system will keep an audit log of when something is submitted, and essentially, we would just be replacing our forms that are downloaded from our website now and printed off by vendors or filled out, whether it's an Excel file or a PDF that they print, sign, and submit hard copy. I'd be uploading those files, they'd fill them out digitally. The system will actually even automatically tabulate bids when we have like unit pricing, so it gets rid of all the mathematical errors. There's some positives as far as efficiency goes, and it helps vendors eliminate errors too.
Okay.
It'll also flag vendors if they're missing a document. So let's say they're missing a bid bond or some other sort of required form that we have. It won't let them submit everything until they've done everything they need to. We still have the option, I should also say, to accept hard copies. So we can still do that. That's not something that we would necessarily have to go. We could go a hybrid approach, or we could just go full-on electronic. You know, it gives us another option.
So what's your plan?
Probably for the first couple, honestly, what I would do is do a hybrid approach. If we're not getting any hard copy bids, just go full-on electronic. I don't think there'd be any pushback from the vendor community. I think it'd be seen as a positive, but just in case for these first couple, I think, as I've been thinking about it here these last couple of days, you know, we could do a hybrid approach for the first couple, I think.
Okay, thanks.
That was my question, are we gonna, is this replacing the hard copy process, or it's gonna work together? So it sounds like it's gonna work together
Yeah.
initially.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
correct.
So you mentioned advertising through Civcast, and, you know, I went through this in depth with you, so I understand that. Have you identified any other, I guess, platforms that do advertise our kind of stuff?
Yeah, there's some other.
And do those have as much traction as Civcast?
So without using them, I don't know. So Civcast is in our area, specifically in the Bexar County, San Antonio metropolitan area. From what I've seen, it's got the largest footprint. However, it doesn't require a contract. So honestly, when we have our rules for adoption that are included in the resolution, I didn't want to include any specific system because I'd like a little bit of flexibility to potentially demo a couple and see if we get better results from one versus two. All these systems are built the same way. They're all going to have the same rules in place. Some of them might, you know, have bigger footprints or have a more specific tailored audience, but yeah, different cities will use different ones. There's Beacon Bid, BidNet Direct. There's a few of them out there.
And they're all kind of follow that same model where they're $100 or $200 to just
Yeah,
post?
pretty
They
much.
don't take
yes.
anything off the back end if they connect the two people, do they get paid?
No. And so the vendors, like with this particular system, it's not charging anything to the vendors. So I think it's a benefit to us, honestly. I think, in my opinion, for what we could receive, even just off one bid, you know, more favorable bids, I think it would be money well spent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm happy that we've made it this far with this, and I'm thrilled to find out that you've identified some places for growth for it. I think this is definitely going to bring a lot more contractors to us.
Yeah, it'll be a good touch for us. It'll modernize our process, I think.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
So as I mentioned briefly, and this is something that we're going to be addressing in a future workshop for our financial management policy, but I do want to let you know of a legislative update that just changed, which is actually a pretty big one for us in the procurement community. So since 2007, the amount that I've been referencing here for our formal competitive bids has been $50,000. Through a new Senate bill this year, it's amending our Government Code 252 to increase that to $100,000. So our rules that we follow for purchases up to $50,000, we will now follow those rules for purchases up to $100,000. So there's different variations once you get to 3,000, that's when your informal bidding requirements, which there's some, some outreach that you need to do, things like that. The 3 to 50 process has been replaced by the 3 to 100,000 process now. So we'll address this in a future workshop, but I just did want to let you know of this change.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any other questions that you have.
Everybody good? Yep. Any questions from anyone here tonight? Can I get a motion that the city council adopt a resolution authorizing the use of electronic bidding in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code?
So moved.
Was that Dale and Scott? No, Jonathan. All right, Dale made the motion and Jonathan seconded. Any other comments from council? Discussion items? Anything to add? The motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. And the next consideration item that we have tonight is the consideration and the possible action approving a resolution repealing Resolution 2024-60, 2024-61, and 2025-22, rescinding approval of the utility services agreement between the City of Fair Oaks Ranch, Texas, and AD Acquisitions LLC. This is regarding water and wastewater services for an 80.69 acre parcel of land located at 29850 Ralph Fair Road. A portion of the Corley Tract authorizes the city manager to proceed with the Dietz Elkhorn East road reconstruction, or the reconstruction project, and providing for an effective date. And
I'll take on this. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request that the city council postpone this item indefinitely. The resolution, as the cover and the backup material states, is to rescind this USA because the developer has not executed the agreement that was previously approved by council. We have been in contact with the developer over the last few days on a potential revision that we think can benefit both them and the city as far as meeting the requirements for both the Dietz Elkhorn Road construction and the water line that they want to develop. We just need a few weeks to put that together and bring that back to you with a revised USA that could help get the project done and get our water line installed and paid for as well. So give us a couple more weeks to come back with that, and we can have an update for you.
okay. And what you're proposing, that this specific consideration item would be postponed indefinitely?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then can I get a motion from council to postpone this item indefinitely? Jonathan made the motion, in a second?
Second.
From Scott? Any other discussion from council?
So it has not been signed, and what would come back to us is a potential amended MSA if we approve to go back to them for signature.
My intention is to bring it back with a signature.
From them first?
Correct.
And the legal issues that were referenced, were those known when we approved the MSA the first time?
Well, they were not known to me, I'll put it that
No,
way.
I meant known to the developer.
I can't speak to that. I don't know, honestly.
Anybody else?
We'll keep this on our radar if we need to move.
Absolutely. I anticipate having a new agreement in well under a month's time. So it'll just be a matter of when the next applicable council meeting will be, but it won't be long. I don't know if it will be 2 weeks or 4 weeks, but it'll be soon.
Else? We have a motion on the table to indefinitely postpone this item. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. All right. Next, 6 consideration items that we have on the agenda tonight relate to filling the boards, committees, and commission members going into October 1st for the next year. And Christina, do you have a couple comments that you wanted to make related to that?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Christina Pachocchio, the city secretary. And after many meetings, discussions, and interviews, we are here tonight to select members for the various city boards, committees, and commissions through resolutions. As a reminder, at the August 7th regular city council meeting, council reappointed all incumbents to their respective boards, committees, and commissions. These reappointments will also be formalized tonight. Mayor, I'll be happy to give it back to you to take it from here.
Yeah, thanks, Christina. I'd just like to say we had 2 nights of conducting interviews, and one thing really stood out to me is that we had 5 new individuals that had never really volunteered at the city that have stepped up and said, hey, we want to volunteer. And we've talked about our history. Our history here in Fair Oaks Ranch is that we were built on volunteers. And so it's great that we still have individuals that are concerned about our community, that are willing to stand up and say that they'll serve on these boards, committees, and commissions. And we had great people, no doubt. I mean, we had a lot of great people, and I was going to say, every year we say that, but and maybe it's true. But we did have a lot of great candidates that came in and said they wanted to serve the city. So I'd like to thank all those that did volunteer. And we had 6 positions to fill. And we'll go through now and consider each committee and fill those positions. And so the first one you have up is the Board of Appeals. Is that correct, Christina?
Yes, sir.
Good. And so with the Board of Appeals, we have 1 position, and we're looking at Kyle Grothius to fill that position. And do we have any other comments or questions from council? Any comments from anyone here tonight? And can I get a motion to approve a resolution appointing Kyle Grothius to place 2 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Board of Appeals?
So move.
From Ruben and from Keith. Any other discussion from council? Or any comments that y'all like to make about the whole process? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next, we'll move on to the CIAC. And for this to fill place 2, Kyle Grothius. And to fill place 5 would be John Aravalis. And tonight also, as part of this, we'll confirm the reappointment of Marcus Garcia, who currently is on the CIAC and wanted to continue, and we extended those in a previous meeting. Any questions from council? Any questions from anyone here tonight? Then can I get a motion to approve a resolution appointing Kyle Grothius to place 2, John Aravalis to place 5, and confirm the reappointment of Marcus Garcia to place 6 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Capital Improvements Advisory Committee?
So moved.
From Jonathan, and a second.
Second.
From Ruben. And any other discussion from council? With no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. From there, we'll move on to the MDD. We specifically didn't have any positions to fill on the MDD from those that we interviewed. but we do need to confirm the reappointments of those that are staying on the committee. Can I get a motion to approve a resolution confirming the reappointment of Keith Roden to place 1, David Fairhurst to place 3, Ruben Olvera to place 6, and Stephen Robertson to place 7 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Municipal Development District Board of Directors?
So moved.
From Scott and Dale. And any discussion from council? Any questions from anyone here tonight? With a motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. And next we'll move on to P and Z. We had one additional position to fill on it. Joe Markling was the individual identified. Any questions from council on this appointment? From anyone here tonight? Then can I get a motion to approve a resolution appointing Joe Markling to place 6 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Planning and Zoning Commission?
So moved.
From Keith?
Second.
Is that Jonathan?
Yep.
Any other discussion from council? Motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. And next we'll move on to the TSAC. We had one place to fill on the Transportation Safety Advisory Committee and the confirmation of 2 other individuals. Adding to place 2 on the Transportation Safety Advisory Committee will be Frank Trapasso. And then as part of this, we'll also confirm Denise Fortenberry to place 4 and Sharon Brimall to place 6. Any questions from council on these appointments? Any questions from anyone here tonight? Can I get a motion to approve a resolution appointing Frank Trapasso to place 2 and confirming the reappointment of Denise Fortenberry to place 4 and Sharon Brimall to place 6 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Transportation Safety Advisory Committee?
So moved.
From Scott, the motion, and Keith, the second. Any other discussion from council? Motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. The last board and committee that we looked at was the Zoning Board of Adjustment. We had one appointment, new appointment to make to this committee. And currently we have Roderick Terrell, who's serving in an alternate on this committee. And we're going to move him up to place, Roderick Terrell, move him up to place 1. And then, which vacates the alternate place 1, which will be filled by Lorraine Castillo. Any other questions from council? Any questions from anyone here tonight? Then can I get a motion to approve a resolution appointing Roderick Terrell to place 1 and confirming the reappointment of Jonathan Lisenby to place 4 and Lorraine Castillo as an alternate place 1 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Zoning Board of Adjustment?
So moved.
From Ruben, and a second.
Second.
From Keith. Any other discussion from council? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. Thanks, everyone, for those that volunteered to come in and interview to be part of our boards and committees. I've told all of those that did apply that I will call them and notify them of the appointments tomorrow if they're not watching. Nobody's here tonight, but I'll call them and let them know. And appreciate those that volunteer. And I appreciate council's patience as we got through these appointments as part of the consideration items tonight. Thank you all. Anything we missed on it, Christina, or got everything covered? Okay. And I believe we have one consideration item left on the agenda for tonight. Which is the consideration and possible action approving a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2025-26 pay schedule for general government and public safety employees. And Joanna.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Joanna Merrill, the Director of Human Resources and Communications. So my presentation tonight starts on page 196 of the City Council's packet. And as discussed during Monday night's workshop item, City Council adopted the minimum plus one step methodology with a 1.5% progression on August 7th. And the pay schedules before you tonight will allow staff to implement those decisions. The new plans move to 30 steps at that 1.5% progression, replacing the old 18 steps at 2.5% structure. Every employee will be placed at or above the market minimum plus one step, which will help reduce compression and ensure fairness throughout the structure. As we look at this, we've also made targeted adjustments in maintenance, utilities, and public safety, which are our hardest to fill areas, to bring those jobs closer to market and to strengthen recruitment and retention area in those departments. And last but not least, we streamlined job titles for consistency, including updates to administrative, finance, custodial, and leadership roles as well, so that our structure is more clear and aligned with our peer cities. Financially, as mentioned on Monday, the schedule fits within the fiscal year 2025-2026 operating budget with no additional amendments required. And from here, next steps would be adoption of the proposed pay schedule with tonight's resolution, followed by delivery of the full study at a later date, and then a final review of any potential adjustments before final adoption of the completed plan. So with that, I will pause and see if you have any questions tonight.
And any questions from council? I think, and it was in the packet, what you covered, all this was considered as part of the budget that we've already approved. And so even though we're adopting this now, there will be no changes to the budget that's been approved already.
Correct.
Okay.
And no changes from what we discussed on Monday.
Correct.
All right. Any other questions? Any questions from anyone here tonight? Can I get a motion to approve a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2025-26 general government and public safety pay schedule?
So moved.
Scott?
Second.
From Jonathan. And any other discussion items from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you, Joanna. And that completes the business that we had listed on the agenda for tonight. I'll turn it over now for any announcements that any council members may have that would like to put out.
Just one. 1947, President Harry Truman signed legislation creating the United States Air Force. So happy birthday to my Air Force peeps out there. Broke the shackles of our Army oppressors.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other announcements? I do have two quick announcements. National Night Out is coming up on Tuesday, October 7th. This is our annual community building campaign that encourages partnership between law enforcement and the communities within our city. And currently we have 9 neighborhood, they usually do it by the HOAs, and we currently have 9 HOAs that have signed up to participate as part of National Night Out. And we're still accepting other or looking for other opportunities, other HOAs or community organizations that would like to participate as part of this. And if there are some out there that have not signed up yet, would like the opportunity, please call our police station, talk to Sergeant Dominic, and he's the point of contact for it. If you can't find the number, just call City Hall, and they'll transfer you over and get you to the right individuals to talk to so you can sign up. Second announcement that I had tonight is the fog seal application on Dietz Elkhorn West is coming up. And when I say west, it's from the Parkway, Dietz Elkhorn, that runs from the Parkway to Old Fredericksburg Road. And fog seal application will be applied starting this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It'll be applied from the Parkway almost to where the Advantage Apartments are at. And they'll do both sides of the road. Saturday they'll do one side, Sunday they'll do the other side. And although they'll have part of the road blocked off, two-way traffic will still be allowed during that time frame. The following weekend, the 27th and 28th, they'll do the remainder of the road from that area around the Vantage Apartments all the way to Old Fredericksburg Road. Same process, one side of the road on Saturday, the other side of the road on Sunday, and the road will remain open for two-way traffic. But just to let people know, and I'm pretty sure we chose the weekend because we have lower traffic on Dietz Elkhorn during that time frame, so as not to impact anybody. All right, two announcements I had. Scott, anything else?
Nothing further.
All right. And does any council members have anything that they would like added to a future agenda? Okay. With that, we will go into executive session for a second time tonight. And we'll do that under two items listed on the agenda. Pursuant to Section 551.101 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, according to the governing body, hereby convenes into closed session. We'll do it first, related to 551.071, consultation with attorney. City Council will meet in private consultation with legal counsel, seek advice of its attorney, and discussion on legal requirements necessary to contract fire and emergency medical services. And following that, we'll just stay in executive session and under Section 551.074, under personal matters, to perform the annual evaluation of the city secretary. I anticipate the total time for this executive session will be 1 hour, 60 minutes. It'll be two sessions. We won't come out, we won't break for this to cover both these items. For the first one, which will cover the fire and emergency medical services, I need all the council members, the city manager, the ACMs, the attorney, and chief of police representative for this. And once we complete, following that, we'll really just need council, the city manager, and the city secretary. And Christine, if you just remain close by, we'll give you a call when we're ready. And Christine, I have the time now is 8:13, and we are in executive session. Casey, can you hear me okay? Christine, I have the time now is 9:19, and we are back in open session. During the time we met in executive session, we did have one item as part of the emergency services. We did have an item to consider back in open session, and it's the consideration and possible action authorize the city manager or mayor to sign the interlocal agreement for fire protection and EMS as was updated by ESD4 board. And at last council meeting, this council, we did approve an interlocal agreement, and we did sign that and forwarded it to the ESD4 board. And after their review, the ESD4 board requested several additions to the interlocal agreement. Number one, if non-appropriation to the contract is considered, both parties must give 1 year notice in writing. 2, waiver of performance will be done mutually. And number 3, dispute resolution will be conducted, number 1, by informal negotiation. If not resolved within 30 days, then to move to a mutually designated negotiator. And if resolution cannot be accomplished there, then to move to legal and equitable remedies. We don't see any issue with adding these items to the contract. And with these modifications, the ESD4 board did consider, with these included, the ESD4 board did review the interlocal agreement today, and they did approve it. They're in the process of obtaining the required signatures, and once completed, the ESD board will forward to the City of Fair Oaks Ranch for our signature. This item tonight is authorized city manager mayor to sign that interlocal agreement when we do receive it. And with that, any questions from council? Then can I get a motion to approve an interlocal agreement as updated by ESD4 and authorize city manager or mayor to sign the interlocal agreement?
So moved.
From Ruben, and a second?
Second.
From Scott. And any other comments from council? Motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. I did have one correction to the announcements that I put out earlier. When I talked about the fog seal application to Detail Corn West, I stated that it was from Fair Oaks Parkway all the way to Old Fredericksburg Road, and that was incorrect. The only portion that is receiving the fog seal is from Knoll Road, which is on the east side of Robb Elementary. And from that point, Knoll Road all the way to Old Fredericksburg Road. The portion that'll be done this weekend is from Knoll Road to the Vantage Apartments. Next weekend from Vantage Apartments to Old Fredericksburg Road. All right, Christine, anything we missed or anything else we need to cover?
No, everything, we're good, thank
Scott,
you.
anything from your end that we need to go over?
No, sir.
I have the time now is 9:23 and we are adjourned.